Sonic Colors Ultimate. Where do I begin? If you don't live under a rock, you'll know that Sonic Colors Ultimate has been a hot topic ever since it was revealed in the Sonic Central 30th anniversary livestream. Heck, it's even been the talk of the town before SEGA even mentioned it due to leaks and internet rumors. Even after the trailer was revealed, the Sonic fandom was split into three parts. People who liked the way the game looked and were looking forward to buying it day one, people who hated the way the game looked and were preaching about the wonders of Dolphin Emulator, and people who just didn't care and were waiting for the main course, aka Sonic Range. I mean the Sonic game that's coming in 2022 that we know absolutely nothing about. That was close. Anyway, if you're watching this video, you most likely seen the title and thumbnail and guessed that I am not happy with the end state of this game. The problem with this remaster is that it takes one step in the right direction and then two steps in the wrong one. Although this won't be a video mindlessly bashing the game, I will try and keep this review as fair as possible. So let's dive in. T-Squad Rise Up, it's your boy Temzy back here again with another banger, and today we're gonna be dropping the review of Sonic Colors Ultimate 1 month after the game was released. Yeah, as of recording this, it's been exactly a month since the game was fully released global worldwide. Sonic Colors Ultimate is a remaster of the Sonic game Sonic Colors. That's Colors with a U, by the way. I don't make the rules. If you don't like it, feel free to leave. The original game came out on the Wii on the 11th of November 2010, while the remaster was released globally online to all platforms, including the Xbox One, PlayStation 4 and 5 due to backwards compatibility, PC, Master Race, and the Nintendo Switch. As I mentioned in the intro of this video, this remaster has been a mixed bag even before the reveal, and you'll soon see why. Lighting issues, CG glitches, terrible audio mixing, and dodgy UI are just some of the wonderful surprises that await people that purchase this game. Also awaiting players is a new customization feature that hasn't really been explored in other Sonic games before. A few games did have something similar, but it wasn't as advanced as what Colors Ultimate did. This is the first Sonic game that officially lets the player change Sonic's attire without the use of modding tools. It's a step in the right direction in my opinion, because the only game that really let us change what the player was wearing was Sonic Forces, and that was for the custom character, not the Blue Blur himself. Unfortunately, the customization is only limited to Sonic shoes and gloves, with the addition of different boosts and different auras. And the limitation doesn't stop there. The only options available are literally just texture swaps, so don't have your hopes up for anything special like soap shoes. The movie's Sonic Aura is a nice treat for those who ordered the digital deluxe of the game when it chooses to work, because I've booted up the game a couple of times and almost all of the digital deluxe perks were missing. That includes the Planet Wisp remix, which was locked behind a paywall for some unconceivable reason, but we'll get on that later. At the time of recording this review, it seems like that bug has been fixed with the latest update, and all the digital deluxe items load properly on each launch of the game. Unfortunately, that was one of the many bugs in the game, and dependent on what platform you purchased the game for, there are more bugs than you can shake a stick at. The Switch users seem to have it worse, with unsteady frame rates, a weird bug that makes Sonic turn into a fish creature, and a quite colourful experience that happens when you switch areas too quickly that can literally cause people seizures. After the glitch was found out, people took to Twitter to complain, naturally, and post other game breaking bugs that they found while playing the game. It is worth noting that some of the videos were actually fake, as people could download an illegal copy of the Switch port to their computers and record gameplay in the Uzi emulator. Thankfully, SEGA noticed the bugs and released the aforementioned patch that fixed a bunch of different bugs. Switch users can now play the game without fearing for their health. PC got a patch that fixed a tiny hole in the UI for some reason, and other platforms got a patch that reduced the file size of the game, PC included. The file size was massive because someone did an oopsie and left the official dev tools in the game. We'll get to that in a moment, but just know it was a very lucky accident for some Sonic fans who are adept at modding and programming. The update also included the Godot engine in the credits, which wasn't previously there for some reason. I kid you not bro, they took an open source engine, modified it slightly, called it Blind Squirrel Engine, and then called it a day. I mean, it's totally legal, but it's kind of a scummy thing to do. And it took for fans to notice that it was Godot and publicly call out SEGA and Blind Squirrel for the Godot team to get their deserved credits. Blind Squirrel issued out a statement of an apology and Godot got added to the end credits, which are 30 minutes long by the way. And apparently the music cuts out halfway after like 15 minutes, so you're literally left with silence and scrolling names. Speaking of music, everything audio wise in this remaster is somehow messed up. Some of the remixes don't bang. Half of the time music just stops playing in the first place. The audio mixing is rough and you can hear sound effects at random volumes in any of your ears, most of the time being the left ear. And the best part is, even if you wanted to salvage the situation and just turn the sound effects down completely, you can't, because both the sound and the music is mapped to the same volume slider.
What the hell, game designers?
Control remapping is default, so at least you can change the face buttons on any platform, and even more than that on PC, just standard stuff. Unfortunately, they didn't add an option to have the controls be like every other modern boost formula game, meaning you're stuck with flicking the joystick for quick stepping and you have to hold the boost button to drift in certain sections. That was one of my gripes with the original game, and I'm sad to see it hasn't been changed in the new remastered version. Funnily enough, you can remap the left and right buttons on the D-pad to the bumpers, allowing you to quick step like in Unleashed Gens and Forces. Unfortunately though, it's only locked to certain sections, meaning that everywhere else, if you press either of the bumpers, Sonic will walk normally instead of quick stepping freely like the previous games. While some people will complain about the remix soundtrack, I am personally fine with the new additions to the game's music, with a couple of exceptions. They should have made it optional in the settings, but instead allocated the new remixes to play in Act 1, Act 2 and Act 3, leaving the old songs to Act 4, Act 5 and Act 6. This kind of makes sense because it means we technically have a different version of the level theme for every single act, instead of one act theme repeating in another. The original composer Tomoya Otani returns for most of the remixes and is joined by the legendary Junsuno of Crush 40, who handled the boss themes and some of the stages, including Terminal Velocity. Basically, everyone on the internet can agree that Suno's tracks were bangers and sounded like they were from a Lost Sonic Adventure 2 level. Otani's remixes, however, while most of them good, didn't really fit the theme of the stages or had some unwelcome additions, such as the piano in Tropical Resort. Minus the chorus, in which it fit perfectly. And the techno synths added to Sweet Mountain / Planet Wisp. At the end of the day, music is subjective, and while I enjoyed almost all of the soundtrack, it wasn't to everyone's tastes. I won't go too deep into the music, but if you want to hear a detailed analysis of the music in Colors Ultimate, I recommend checking out my nigga Screwstash. He made this video where he went deep, bro went deep into the music.
Sumu Nishikawa is the guy who plays the guitar on this song, and man, his guitar tone is super rich and beefy. I love it. I don't know how the hell he got that type of tone out of a Gibson SG.
Explained it like 10 times better than I ever could, so yeah, I recommend you guys check that out. Lighting in this game is a mixed bag. Some places look glorious and refreshed, making the game look truly like a modern remaster of Sonic Colors, whilst some places are too bright, too dark. Where's the balance, people? Tropical Resort, for example, has had its colors completely drained from it, brightness reduced, and bloom cranked all the way up. I get that they were trying to make it look like the original vision for the game, since the Wii's hardware had a lot of limitations and the original devs had to cut a few corners whilst developing the game. Sonic himself emits light like he's radioactive, which doesn't really make sense. There's an easy mode addition to the game, which isn't even optional by the way, called Tail Save. It replaces the lives so Sonic can die infinitely and respawn without a game over screen, but it's only activated by falling into pits. Oh wait, I wasn't specific enough. Tail Save only activates when you fall into certain pits, making it almost impossible to discern which pits Tails will save you from and which pits he will watch you slowly die while eating popcorn. Oh, and if you get hit by an enemy or a spike hazard with no rings, you'll die automatically and respawn at a checkpoint. So this new feature, which you can't turn off again, only works in what I'd say about 4 out of 10 scenarios which Sonic loses a life. And even after he does catch you, you are forced to watch a 5-second animation, which you can't skip by the way, of Tails just hovering there and holding Sonic.
Almost made it.
You don't even get to see Tails dive in and rescue Sonic. You just have to watch them hover there in place, drop Sonic and fly off. Almost all of the Tails clips play regardless of if you set the navigator off at the beginning of the game. Plus, unlike in the original, you can't toggle the navigator in the settings after you start a save file. Oh, and speaking of save files, you don't get 6 anymore, you're stuck with 1 now.
Everybody gets 1. Tell him, Peter.
Apparently everybody gets 1.
Bingo.
So, if you planned on replaying the game or sharing with a family member or friend, and you don't want to rewrite your save, you're basically screwed. Apart from the audio, the biggest turnoff for this remaster for me was the cutscenes. Instead of re-importing the cutscenes to run in real time or rendering them at a higher quality and frame rate, they run the cutscenes through an AI upscaling application and now they look like the dog's dinner. Yeah, screw you Channel Pop, this is a call out post. Most of the cutscenes are now pretty jittery and look like they've been captured through a washing machine. Comparing that to the 4K 60 upscaled textures and models of the gameplay levels, and the immersion gets absolutely shattered. And what's more is they didn't even lose the source code to the original cutscenes. If they did, then this outcome would be understandable, but inside the files of the game there were official dev tools and cutscene data that was provided to Blind Squirrel by SEGA themselves. Why didn't they use it? Crunch? Incompatibility? Random Sonic fans have gotten their hands on the cutscenes and made almost perfect HD recreations of the original cutscenes. Most of them just being one dedicated fan who just had spare time and decided to take their hand at making a HD recreation of the cutscene. So Blind Squirrel had no excuse to release these cutscenes in this state. In fact, that really applies to the whole game, but while some things can be overlooked, those sorry excuses for brand new 4K 60fps cutscenes cannot. Almost every remaster / remake has, well, remade or properly upscaled their cutscenes. Not to mention added proper graphical settings, which by the way is now a standard of all modern 3D games. I mean, even Forza's had it, man. The UI looks cheap and low quality in most areas, resembling that of a mobile game. The Rival Rush indication doesn't even follow the player's position half of the time, and the actual notification window for Rival Rush looks like one of them pop-up ads that will take you to like a naughty site or something. The final color blaster bar is literally missing a texture. The Jade Ghost Wisp, which is a new addition by the way, is missing from both the intro of the game and the final boss, which is bizarre because it was the most advertised wisp in the entire game. Like, it had a whole cartoon dedicated to it, my guy, there's no excuse for this. I would be going easy on this game, but it's been a complete month since it was released. A month, a whole month, and so far at the time of writing, recording and uploading this review, only one patch has been made for all consoles. And on that, apart from the Switch's visual issues, virtually nothing has been fixed. I mean, it'll take long for me to go to every bug in detail, so I recommend you check out this video by a guy named Twit. He made a compilation of basically every bug in the game both before and after the new update patch. But enough about what this remaster messed up. Let's check what Colors Ultimate actually got right. The controls have been refined. While not as customizable as I originally hoped, they are a step up from the original experience on the Wii and even emulation on PC. The directional input has been reworked for modern analog sticks and has been toned down to the point where it's almost non-existent. As this game was originally on the Wii, you had a limited control scheme and had to choose between the GameCube controller, the Wiimote, and the classic controller, all of which did not have analog sticks and snapped to 8 directions, so the programmers had to code the movement around that for the original game. Even during emulation, there's no way around it, so if you have a modern controller, which are a lot more sensitive to input than a GameCube controller, Sonic's direction will fluctuate unless you hold the stick in a certain position. In Colors Ultimate, it's been fixed, so Sonic doesn't jerk around as much as he did while he moves. The boost has also been made faster whilst keeping the tightness of the controls, so yeah, they really did good on that. So yeah, that was a good call on their part. 2D platforming sections were a breeze to get through, and as this is Sonic Colors we're talking about, there were a lot of those to deal with. Don't get me started. The double jump felt even smoother to use with the fixed directional movement, and I wish all the modern Sonic games from now on utilize the double jump in the exact way Colors Ultimate does. You can still air dash after running out of boost energy, so you get the best of both worlds. The perfect homing attack, or the sweet spot, whichever way you prefer to call it. It's an amazing addition to the game. It adds an extra layer of precision to the gameplay while not affecting it in the slightest at all. Calling it sweet spot is correct because it feels like a combination of the adventure style homing attack where you have to aim the player precisely to perform the homing attack, and the modern homing attack where you can just spam the jump button to do it. People who just want to spam A aren't affected, while people who aim the homing attack precisely are rewarded with boost points. Literally the best of both worlds. Combined with the original controls of the game, this makes Colors Ultimate the best control and boost formula Sonic game, even rivaling Unleashed, as Gen's Sonic in that game controlled like a tank, which made platforming a strain, and Forces was, well, Forces. Rival Rush is a good idea in theory but had a shaky execution. While sometimes the music didn't even play at all and Metal Sonic's animations were janky, it presented an extra level of challenge to the game that I was not expecting at all. After collecting 15 red rings in an area, you're given a chance to revisit a certain stage, that varies per area by the way, with the difference being you race against Metal Sonic. The levels are tricky and keep you on your toes with a brand new twist. Once you die, you gotta restart from the beginning. No tail save, no respawn, and it's completely optional by the way. You can choose not to not do Rival Rush and still complete the story mode of the game, no problem. My only gripes with it are the checkpoints should disappear in Rival Rush mode since they're not meant to be used or even function during the game. Metal Sonic should actually interact with the stage instead of it playing a re-recorded run of the original stage that one of the devs probably recorded, and you should get a more impressive reward than Dark Aura for beating all of the Metal Sonic stages. Why not get Metal Sonic playable as a bonus? I heard it was originally planned but scrapped due to time constraints, which is quite disappointing. The Rival Rush stages are 6 in total, which is a bit of a letdown in my opinion, but are still worth trying out. The Jade Ghost Wisp is an excellent addition to the game, at least when it works. The Ghost power-up controls almost exactly like the Hover Wisp. I even suspect it's a reskin, but with the addition of the ability to homing attack both onto fixed points in the level and enemies, even through solid walls. Locking the intangibility of the player to these certain points does make sense considering the player would be able to easily go out of bounds otherwise if they had free will to just move as they pleased while they were a ghost. So yeah, I think that's it for this review. There might be some minor additions I missed, such as the Supersonic theme being a completely remixed and extended version of the opening theme, but I think I've gone through enough major points for this review. Is this game worth picking up? I personally can't vouch for it in its current state. I will say to wait until they drop patches for it in the future, but it's kind of bad that we're a month in from global release and a huge remainder of these bugs are still there. If you can't wait for the next Sonic game in 2022 to release and you got the cash to spare, go for it by all means. But personally, I'd advise you to check out Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania instead. It's a much better remake, even though Colors Ultimate is actually a remaster, but potato. It has tons of love and care put into it, and it's also a SEGA IP, so just in the end, you're still supporting SEGA. So yeah, it's a win-win. You can check that out. If you're still watching at this point in the video, I want to thank you for being an absolute legend. I hope you guys enjoyed this video because this took me way longer to write, edit and record than usual. Because this is the direction I want to take with this channel, I guess if I want to see the gains, I have to feel the pain. Anyway guys, be sure to like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed this video and join the Discord server in the description below. I'll see you guys there. Temzy out. Peace.